Karl Marx was a socialist theoretician and organizer, a major figure in history of economic and philosophical thought, and a great social prophet. But it is as a sociological theorist that he commands our interest here. Society, according to Marx, comprises a moving balance of antithetical forces that generate social change by their tension and struggle. Marx's vision was based on an evolutionary point of departure. For him, struggle rather than peaceful goal was the engine of progress. Strife was the father of all things, and social conflict the core of historical process. This thinking was in contrast with most of the doctrines of his 18th century predecessors, but in tune with much 19th century thought. To Marx, the motivating force in history was the manner in which men relate to one another in their continuous struggle to wrest their livelihood from nature. The first historical act is the production of material life itself. This is indeed a historical act, a fundamental condition of our history. The quest for a sufficiency in eating and drinking, for habitation and for clothing were man's primary goals at the dawn of the race, and these needs are still central when attempts are made to analyze the complex anatomy of modern society. But man's struggle against nation does not case in these needs are gratified. Man is a perpetually dissatisfied animal. When primary needs have been met, this leads to new needs, and this production of new needs is the first historic catalyst. New needs evolve when the means are found to allow the satisfaction of older ones. In the effort of satisfying primary and secondary needs, men engage in antagonistic cooperation as soon as they leave the primitive communal state of development. As soon as a division of labor emerges in human society, the division leads to the formation of antagonistic classes, the prime actors in the historical drama. Marx was a relativating historicist, according to whom all social relations between men, as well as all systems of ideas, are specifically rooted in historical period. Idea and category are no more internal than the relational which they express. They are historical and transitory products. For example, whereas the classical economics has seen the tripartite division among landowners, capitalists, and wage earners as eternally given in the national order of things, Marx considers such categories as typical only for specific historical period as produce of an historically transient state of affairs. Historical specificity is the hallmark of Marx's approach. When he asserted, for example, that or previous historical periods were made by cut structures, he immediately added that these structures differ according to historical states. In marked distinction to his radical predecessors who had treated to see history as a monotonous succession of structures between rich and poor or between a powerless and a powerful. Marx maintained that although caste structure had marked our history and contenders in the battle had changed over time. Although there might have been some similarity between the journeyman and the late Middle Age who waged their battle against guide masters and the modern interior workers who confronted capitalists and contenders were nevertheless in the functionally different situation. The character of the overall social matrix determined the forms of structure which were contained within it. The faction that modern factory workers, at the extinction of medieval journeymen, are forever expropriated from command over the means of production and hence forced to sell their labor power to those who control these means, make them a caste qualitatively different from artisans or journeymen. The fact that modern workers are formally free to sell their labor while being extensively constrained to do so makes their condition historical, specific, and functionally distinct from that of earlier exploited classes. Marx's thinking contrasts sharply with that as well as of Hegel, for whom the evolution of mankind results primarily from the evolution of ideas of the human spirit. Marx looked at his point of departure and the evolution of man's material conditions and varying ways in which men combine together in order to gain a livelihood. Legal relations as well as forms of state are to be grasped neither from themselves nor from the so-called general development of the human mind, but later have their roots in the material conditions of life, the sum total of which Hegel combines under the name of civil society. The anatomy of civil society is to be sought in political economy. The change of society system cannot be explained, according to Marx, by extra social factors such as geography or climate, since these remain relatively constant in their fact of major historical transformation, nor can such change be explained by reference to the emergence of novel ideas. The genesis and acceptance of ideas depend on something that is not an idea. Ideas are not prime movers but are the reflection, direct or sublimated. But of the material interests that impel men in their dealing with others. It was from Hegel thought, perhaps also from Montesquieu, that Marx learned the holistic approach that regards society as a structurally interrelated whole. Consequently, for Marx, any aspect of that whole, be it legal cause, system of education, religion, or art, cannot be understood by itself. Society, moreover, are not only structured wholes but developing totalities. His own contribution lay in identifying an independent variable that play only a minor part in Hegel's system, the model of economic production. Although historical phenomena were the result of an interplay of many components, all but one of them, the economic factors were in the last analysis department variables. The political, legal, philosophical, literary, and artistic development rests on the economic, but they are based upon one another and upon the economic base. It is not the case that the economic situation is the sole active cause and that everything else is merely a passive effect. There is later a reciprocity within a field of economic necessity which in the last instance always asserts itself.